Coming up on Global Business, President Xi Jinping calls for accelerated efforts to achieve high-level self-reliance and strength in science and technology. That's as China honors its top scientists at the annual National Science and Technology Awards Conference right here in Beijing. China unveils a new 5-year plan to boost its tourism sector. This as the country's summer culture and tourism season kicks off with over 30,000 events and over 450 million yuan in consumption vouchers. And despite geopolitical tensions and trade frictions, global institutions are more optimistic about China's economic outlook. Welcome to Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Michael Wong in Beijing. Our top story, China has honored its top scientific achievements and researchers at the annual National Science and Technology Awards Conference right here in Beijing. President Xi Jinping presented the country's highest science award, calling for accelerated efforts to achieve high-level self-reliance and strength in science and technology and leverage sci-tech innovation to underpin and drive Chinese modernization. He said the 15th five-year plan period that runs from this year through 2030 is a critical phase for tackling tough challenges in building up the country's strength in science and technology.
Chinese President Xi Jinping presented the 2025 State Preeminent Science and Technology Award to two leading scientists. Academician Chen Lichuan from the Institute of Physics under the Chinese Academy of Sciences and academician Ben De from the 14th Research Institute of China Electronics Technology Group Cooperation. Xi, together with other leaders, also presented awards to representatives receiving the State Natural Science Award, the State Technological Invention Award, the State Scientific and Technological Progress Award, and the International Science and Technology Cooperation Award. A total of 258 projects and 11 scientists were recognized this year, including 9 foreign experts honored for their contributions to international scientific cooperation with China. Addressing the conference, Xi said China has made historic progress in science and technology since the 18th CPC National Congress, as innovation has become a central pillar for the country's modernization drive. He said China is rapidly evolving from a participant and contributor in global science to a pioneer and leader, making it one of the world's fastest rising innovation powerhouses. Xi noted that a new wave of scientific and industrial transformation is reshaping economies and societies, calling for stronger measures to address remaining challenges in China's innovation system. He outlined key priorities for advancing the country's science and technology agenda. These include strengthening the national innovation system, improving coordination in major research programs, and reinforcing strategic scientific capabilities. Xi also stressed the need to better integrate technological and industrial innovation by accelerating the application of research, expanding technology transfer, strengthening intellectual property protection, and improving science and technology finance. Xi emphasized that young people will shape the future of science. He called for cultivating more outstanding young researchers through closer coordination between education and scientific research, while creating an environment that enables scientists to focus on innovation. He also urged deeper reform of research evaluation systems, greater investment efficiency, and stronger research integrity. Xi called on the whole of society to support scientific innovation, encouraging researchers across the country to make new contributions towards building China into a global leader in science and technology.
The academicians of the two academies are a source of pride of both the party and the people. I hope you will cherish the honor and strive tirelessly and play an exemplary and leading role in advancing the frontiers of science and technology undertaking major tasks, cultivating young talent, and practicing the spirit of scientists. The broad community of scientific and technological professionals are a vital force in building a great modern socialist country. I hope you will carry forward the fine tradition of serving the country and benefiting the people, and make new contributions to building China into a leading country in science and technology.
The two awardees of the top Sci-Tech Award also gave speeches at the conference, which convened more than 4,000 attendees. President Xi also took a group photo with representatives receiving the awards.
Well, China has unveiled a new 5-year plan to bolster the country's tourism sector. The plan, approved by the State Council, targets 8.3 billion domestic tourist trips for 2030, with spending totaling $1.13 trillion. It also sets a goal of 190 million inbound tourist visits each year, with annual spending totaling more than $150 billion US. That plan also encourages tourism operators to expand their inbound services, promoting the China Service brand through distinctive Chinese hospitality and delivering unique, memorable experiences for international visitors.
It has proposed a good idea, that is, combining China's hospitality culture with the demand for inbound travel.
We should give full play to the tourism-boosting role of China's manufacturing and services, as well as that of modern technology, notably AI.
And China has launched its 2026 summer culture and tourism consumption season on Wednesday, with a nationwide push to boost travel and spending during the peak holiday period. And more than 30,000 cultural and tourism events will take place across the country, while authorities will issue over 450 million yuan, or about $63 million, in consumer vouchers and subsidies. Host province Qinghai is offering 20 million yuan in tourism vouchers covering attractions, hotels, transportation, and tour packages. Over in Sanya, Hainan province, a new cartoon-themed children's park has opened, targeting family travelers. Meanwhile, Shanxi province is hosting more than 2,100 cultural events, giving visitors a chance to experience the rich heritage of the ancient capital of Chang'an, known today as Xi'an. Well, the momentum of China's inbound tourism has continued into 2026, driven by the expansion of the visa-free policy to more countries. Now, to attract young travelers seeking deeper cultural experiences, Beijing is now rolling out tourism options that combine cutting-edge technology with rich cultural offerings. Our Shao Wei has more.
Beijing has unveiled its first top 10 new scenarios for inbound tourism, blending trendy shopping, wellness, and high-tech industrial tours with the Tech Meets China chic appeal. More than 300 travel operators from over 40 countries have already sealed deals worth nearly 45 million yuan, both online and offline.
I think it's very changed the China. It's more easy, the entry and the buy connection is very, very easy. Now I buy this present for my family, for my office, and it's very easy. I pay with Weixin. Yes, very convenient.
At a recent event, 17 countries and 30 Chinese provinces showcased local specialties and innovations. Beijing's 798 Art District brought VR cinema experiences, while other regions offered intangible cultural heritage food and one-stop tax refund services.
Beijing has pioneered a citywide one-stop tax refund model, offering immediate refunds upon purchase and cross-regional mutual recognition. We also launched the country's first online duty-free refund store for overseas tourists. We have basically built a three-dimensional tax refund service system covering core business districts, key hotels, bank branches, and international exhibitions.
In the first 5 months, we received over 2.6 million inbound tourists, a year-on-year increase of over 35%, and tourism expenditure exceeded 25 billion yuan. Going forward, we will promote the development of new cultural tourism productivity through public service upgrades, industrial improvements, and market regulation, while advancing the application of technology in cultural tourism scenarios.
Shao Wei, CGTN, Beijing.
Meanwhile, a couple from the U.S. and Bulgaria say their recent trip to China challenged many of their preconceptions about the country. The pair run a travel channel documenting their journeys around the world. Their videos about China have now attracted significant attention online and sparked widespread discussion among viewers. So, how did the trip change their perceptions of China? Let's listen in.
In the introduction to their China travel series, Zarko and Teresa wrote,
"We had read things, watched the news, talked to people who had been there. We thought we had a reasonable picture of what to expect. We were wrong, not a little wrong, almost entirely wrong."
The couple, who have traveled to more than 100 countries, explored China independently, seeking to experience everyday life and better understand the country through first-hand observation. Their videos have sparked lively discussion online. Many viewers echoed their view that first-hand experience is often the best way to move beyond stereotypes and gain a deeper understanding of China. I spoke with them to find out what surprised them most about their trip.
The first things that I noticed was the massive development. Like, it almost appeared to me that the cities had rebuilt themselves. All new, like the cities were new and they were developed. There was so many different places to see. The high-speed trains were incredible. I've never seen anything like that before. The amount of tunnels that were used to build some of those high-speed railways was incredible. There's just so many things.
And the other thing that surprised me was I expected to be nice in the tier 1 cities like Shanghai, but like it was nice in the country too. Like the highways, they were beautiful everywhere. Like we're driving through Yunnan and other places through China.
The other thing that I was expecting a lot of air pollution, and when we got there, I was like standing there watching all this traffic and all this movement of the scooters, and I couldn't hear anything. Everything is electric. And it's like, Zarko, it's quiet. Look at all this traffic, and it's quiet, and there's no pollution in this big city. That really surprised me. I was shocked.
Yeah. Like, what changed? What completely changed your views about China after this trip?
I would say that how welcome people were of us. In China, we were so welcome. We went to that park, and people were inviting us over to join them in their activities. Or we were in a very small village, and we walked in, and everybody's kind of sitting around talking, and they smiled, and I sat down with them, and they took our picture, and they were just so friendly. I guess I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I think your videos are very curiosity-driven, that you have a question and you go there to find out.
Well, what we've learned in all the travel is to go in and be just try to immerse yourselves and don't judge anyone, or don't try to go in with preconceived notions. Go in and observe, ask questions, try to understand as much as you can, because every culture is so different. And we were pleasantly surprised with China, with the people, the environment, the infrastructure. I mean, I could just go on and on.
I mean, like, at the same time, we have way more questions. We have way more curiosity. And definitely we're going to come back to China to learn more.
It's still to come here on Global Business. Despite geopolitical tensions and trade frictions, global institutions are more optimistic about China's economic outlook.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global Business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business. Only on CGTN.
Well, global institutions are growing more optimistic about China's 2026 economic outlook despite geopolitical tensions and trade frictions weighing on the global economy. The World Bank, in its July China economic update, kept its GDP growth forecast at 4.4%, citing steady progress when it comes to high-tech industries. And Fitch Ratings took a more bullish stance, raising its projection to 4.6% on stronger than expected first quarter data. The growth was mainly driven by robust high-tech manufacturing and resilient foreign trade. And Morgan Stanley went even further, lifting its outlook to 4.8%. The bank expects sustained global demand for China's AI computing equipment, energy storage systems, solar products, and EVs. Well, amid a surge in both domestic and inbound tourism, China's hospitality industry is experiencing a wave of new opportunities. In response, European hotel heavyweight Accor Group has recently announced fresh strategies to fast-track its expansion and strengthen local collaborations across the country. CGTN spoke with Accor's global CEO to find out more.
The Peace Hotel, a historic landmark and iconic symbol of Shanghai, has operated under Accor's Fairmont brand since 2010. It will be transformed to a global flagship of Raffles, Accor's high-end luxury brand. And this is just one of Accor's accelerating expansion moves in China.
It's exquisite, refined, elegant. It's probably one of the best examples of what we call a trusting relationship.
And this is Sebastian Bazan, the Accor's global CEO, coming for China this week. It was here in this landmark that he unveiled further China expansion plans and sealed new partnerships.
We've been signing 7 different brands from Pullman to M Gallery to Sofitel to Fairmont. And it's only the beginning, my dear. We have 17 brands in China today, but Accor, we have 45 brands globally. So that means there's another 30 brands that I guess, or 28, that I guess we can be working together. And I want to go deeper in North China, East China, West China. You're going to see Accor doubling the pace in China over the next 5 to 6 years. Doubling means going from 800 hotels to 1,600, going probably to 250,000 rooms. We already have 45,000 people working in China, so it means probably going to 90,000 people. It's a big commitment. China is in the top 3 countries for Accor in the world. And it's a country in which you will be, my dear, the largest global hospitality market in the world. China will be, probably in 5 to 7 years from today. You're going fast, so power AI, anything you do with social network, with the agentic AI, you are ahead of the game when it comes to travel hospitality. Mm-hmm. So I'm also learning when I come here. I'm being inspired. You are in a complex kind of actually environment here because I need to understand the new people underneath 35 years old in China. They don't want the same thing as 300 million Chinese above 60 years old. Those have 2 different expectations. So I need to cater for each generation, male, female. And I've heard something when I was preparing with you. I did not understand enough the importance of pets. Yeah. A lot of Chinese today want to travel with their animal. Yeah. They actually want their pet to discover the world. The emotional consumption, the experience, it's a big part of it. Hospitality today encompasses everything, and everything I love. In all those different verticals before, never talked to one another. Now music is going to be talking to hotels, then cinema will talk to hotel, then gastronomy will talk to hotel. My room becomes anecdotic. I'm fascinated by the evolution of the Chinese demand. Actual future plan in China is to double, triple the amount of people we have in China to get the team the right resources and the right autonomy. We will have probably in 10 years 7,000 hotels and probably almost 2,000 in China. So you are the biggest piece of my development, probably the greatest potential. And so that dedication comes with additional resources, additional commitment, and probably more sophisticated, more audacious vision. My vision for your country is very, very large. You have everything I can be dreaming of. I said. So I just want people to discover and understand what you have to offer. Many countries cannot match with China.
Well, moments ago, the International Monetary Fund has once again cut this year's global growth forecast, edging it down to 3% from a prior estimate of 3.1%. The fund noted that the negative impact of the Middle East conflict has been partly offset by AI-driven growth and investment. In the latest edition of the World Economic Outlook, the IMF said energy exporters outside the war zone, plus economies that are actually plugged into the technology-led upturn, could maintain strong momentum despite geopolitical tensions. Now, as of 2027, the IMF has slightly raised its growth forecast next year to 3.4%. Meanwhile, global headline inflation is expected to reach 4.7% this year before easing to 3.9% next year, marking a continued upward revision primarily due to energy price volatility. Well, Chinese automaker Chery has officially launched its manufacturing plant over in South Africa, marking its transition into a local manufacturer and deepening its long-term commitment to the South African market. Our Yulisa Jamela has more.
As Nissan's historic chapter closes, another one begins following Chery Automakers' acquisition of the manufacturing plant here in South Africa. The Chinese automaker says this development marks the company's transition from vehicle importer to local manufacturer in South Africa and signaling its long-term commitment to the country.
Our long-term goal is to turn the roasting plant into a complete auto center with research, supply chain, and training, supporting its expansion presence and the goal of exceeding 100,000 annual vehicle sales in South Africa. This plant is our first full industrial chain ecosystem in Africa, from materials to green solutions and social responsibility, showing a closed-loop industrial system. Building on this new foundation, we're moving from products export to building a full ecosystem expansion, driving regional industry growth and upgrades through coordinated value chains.
Our job is not just to run this plant, but to grow it, to strengthen it, and to ensure it keeps delivering real value for the people of South Africa. The world is in the middle of the fundamental energy shift. South Africa is uniquely positioned by its geography, its solid policy foundation, and its expanding market to lead in advanced manufacturing and new energy vehicles. We believe that future. Chery brings deep capabilities in electrification, intelligent system, and green manufacturing.
South Africa has expressed deep confidence in the multi-billion rand investment, which will create thousands of jobs across the local supply chain.
There are, of course, new technologies that Chery will come up with, but they will train the workers, but more broadly also make sure that there's transfer of skills and technology to our country to benefit particularly the youth. So we are quite excited, we are happy about this investment. We have committed to supporting Chery as national government, provincial government, and the city to make sure that this investment can grow, create jobs here, and also be used as a hub to produce vehicles for other markets, particularly in the continent.
Since entering the South African market in 2021, Chery has grown into one of the country's fastest growing automotive brands and now ranks as the second largest passenger vehicle brand by sales this year. Production at the Cherry plant is expected to start in 2027, with the initial production of 15,000 vehicles expected by the end of that year. Yudi Sanjamela for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And Chinese-made electric vehicles have officially entered the Canadian market. According to data from Global Affairs Canada, May marked the very first month of EV imports from China. The move follows an earlier initiative signed by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, which allows China to ship up to 49,000 EVs per year into Canada at a preferential tariff of 6.1%. Arnina Devries has more from Mississauga, Ontario.
EVs at this car dealership in Mississauga, a city just outside of Toronto, are getting their last inspection before going to their owners. The cars are not from China, but that may soon change. Carnick's dealership has been watching China closely and what they are doing to make a better EV product. And it's strongly considering selling EVs from China, says General Manager Noah Liu.
We're going to evaluate their product values, their product quality, as well as see if they're up to the Canadian market's expectation in terms of price, the most important thing, the price, and also after-sales services. They're critical to the Canadian market.
According to a Reuters report, the U.S. company Tesla has already started bringing Chinese-made vehicles into Canada. And it's expected that Geely, a Chinese brand, will export Lotus EVs to Canada starting this month.
So how do Canadians really feel about Chinese EVs coming here? Well, recent surveys show they're very open to it.
An Auto Pacific survey reveals that over half of Canadian car buyers would consider buying a car made in China. Another poll by Nanos Research Group for Bloomberg News says that 53% of Canadians said it wouldn't affect their buying decision if an EV came from China. And Liu says customers have already been expressing some interest. In terms of how Canada's move to work more with China might further strain relations with the U.S., some experts say it was still a reasonable choice.
So having another partners is something that we had to do. So maybe on a high level, it sours the relationship, but at any deeper level, it's a clear step, it's a clear response.
On the flip side, Professor Barron adds that U.S. lawmakers recently introduced legislation that could prevent Chinese EVs from traveling on U.S. roads. This could have an impact on people who may want to travel to the U.S. from Canada. And when it comes to Canada's auto industry, experts say it's important the cars are manufactured here in Canada.
We want beyond just having access to Chinese cars, we want to have access to, want to make sure that jobs are being created here in manufacturing and research and infrastructure, because the future of the industry certainly isn't in hoping that we'll keep making gas cars in Canada.
Back at Carnex, Liu agrees keeping Canadian jobs is important.
For example, the battery, the after-sales services, the aftermarket parts, there's going to be a huge market for all that as well.
For now, the more specific details on exactly how the cars will be made isn't clear, but Canada wants to make sure it's in the driver's seat. Nina DeVries, CGTN, Mississauga.
And that's going to wrap up this edition of Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Michael Wong here in Beijing. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time.